Greetings, pod fans! It is day 2 of Podvidia. Pod videos himself every day in April. And as the title suggests, I miss being bored. Which might confuse you, because Bo Burnham taught us that boredom is a crime. But being bored in my late teens, early 20s is the reason that I can do a lot of the things that I can do. I learned to dance, juggle, solve a Rubik's Cube, play the spoons, and the reason that I've been making these videos for this entire time spawned from just being bored and wanting something to do. Because that's what boredom is. It's like having nothing to do, wanting to do something, and for me, it generally ended up with me learning something. But since around 2013, I've been carrying a box around with me that anytime my brain is idle for more than a few seconds, I just kind of fall into it. And before you get the wrong idea, I love my phone. I love that I can be in constant contact with friends in different time zones. I love that anytime I'm curious about the world, that in a few seconds I can get an answer. And I love that there's almost 18,000 photos and videos on there that, you know, if I feel a little bit nostalgic, I can go to anywhere in the past, I don't know, over a decade. But I hate how scrolling TikTok and Reels feels like I'm doing something, but then I can't remember any of the hundreds that I would look at in a day. I hate that I feel the need to put limits on the amount of time I can spend on certain apps that I will 100% go over. And I hate the fact that my average daily screen time is somewhere around 15 hours because I need YouTube videos to fall asleep to. The first couple of phones that I had were fairly basic. You could call, you could text, you could play some games, and of course, for the low price of all of your available credit, you could go on the internet. Even the phone that I had before 2013 was a smart phone, but it had very limited capability. It was the Vodafone 360 Samsung M1 and had its own operating system and couldn't really do most things. The very first videos that I have on this channel were recorded on that phone. So for that entire time, social media existed on the family computer and later on my laptop, but it was still something that you had to seek out. And then, in 2013, I was given the iPhone 4. And my life has unfortunately never been the same. Suddenly, I could access Facebook at any time of the day, wherever I was. Texting friends was no longer text messages or on the computer. And of course, I could finally join that hot new photo sharing app, Instagram. So that's a brief little history of why I think that, you know, getting a phone that does everything ruined the spark I got from being bored, and also just ruined me being bored. And before you let me know, I am aware that I could get a dumb phone, and I've thought about that, I've considered it, but there's so much FOMO involved with, you know, I feel like I would be missing out on something if I didn't have all these apps that I'm continuously complaining about. I recently did an experiment in work where I had my phone in my bag during work. It wasn't on the table, it wasn't in my pocket, it wasn't anywhere near me. And the expected result was, of course, that I got things done quicker because I wasn't checking every notification. I wasn't like, oh, I wonder what's happening, blah, blah, blah. But an odd one was that my watch, my little Garmin, instantly showed that my stress level went down. And I don't know how accurate the Garmin scientists were when they made their calculations for stress, but it was shocking to see that it was just a dip completely. And that reminded me of this great tweet that goes, me watching some high fantasy shit. I would simply not be corrupted by the magical object. If it's actively harming you, why don't you just put it down, idiot? Me receiving psychic damage 23 hours a day from my phone. Ooh, it is unfortunately very accurate. To sum this whole thing up, personally, I think I need to take more time away from my phone and just embrace boredom more, because that's where a lot of the fun that I can remember from those years was. There are so many positives when it comes to technology, in my opinion, like the speed that we can communicate people, the speed that we can get information, and just how it has improved so many people's lives for the better. But when social media and entertainment apps are clearly being designed, and I think have come out and said that they're being designed to be addicting, I feel like the cycle needs to be broken, for me anyway, because it's not good for this. There's this trend where millennials and older generations are constantly kind of making fun of the iPad babies and how their brains are already melted. But I don't think that we're actually any better. I think the technology just came along like later in our lives, so we feel superior. And that is until there's some kind of pub or cafe that has a sign saying, don't go on your phone, talk to the people around you, and suddenly we don't really want to go to that place. Because, you know, can't be without it. It's a requirement. I am 100% aware that this is currently on YouTube, and a lot of you will finish this video and go to the Shorts tab, but I don't know. I can't solve problems. I'm just some guy trying to make a video every day in April. If you, like me, are looking for ways to be less on your phone, suggestions, I've been using Focus Friend, which is an app that incentivizes you to not use your phone because there's a little bean friend in there who needs to do his knitting, and you using your phone is disrupting him. So you set it off, and then every time you pick up your phone, it's your little bean friend telling you not to disturb him. I've heard good things about the brick, which is like a physical thing that you can tap your phone on and it blocks apps, and then you can't use those apps again until you tap it with the brick. Again, haven't used it, but I've heard it's cool. And as I mentioned, I have time limits on certain apps, a lot of social media apps, through the actual iPhone settings. I'm pretty sure Android has its own thing. My only problem with this, and something that I did mention earlier in the video, is that any time that you try to open it, you can't go into it, but it gives you the option to either give yourself more time or just completely disable that for the day. So yeah, it's not, you know, you kind of have to just have the will anyway to not use it, which sometimes it works. And there are probably countless other options, but those are two that I've used and have found at least a little bit helpful, and one that I think is cool because it's a physical little thing that you can ploop and brick your phone. Yeah, obviously, none of this is sponsored. These are just things that I think sound cool and work in certain ways. But thank you for watching, and you know what? I'm going to talk to you all tomorrow. Sloan.